Hello, writers! Welcome to our third lesson. Today, I decided to do a different class. Let's start. First, we're going to think back a little bit to what we were doing, and then we're going to go forward. Let's remember what we did last class. Remember that you chose an important people, place, or event and wrote it in your special moments? And wrote your special moments? Remember? You chose a special place, a special people or event, and then you listed your special moments. Now, we're going to work in another strategy that will make you think of ideas to start your personal narrative. That is going to be your story. But before that, we're going to watch and listen to the following story. It is called Fireflies. Okay. It is a story written by Julie Brinkler. Let's begin.
Fireflies by Julie Brinkler. On a summer evening, I looked up from dinner through the open window to the backyard. It was growing dark. My treehouse was a black shape in the tree, and I wouldn't go up there now. But something flickered there. A moment. I looked, and it was gone. It flickered again, over near the fence. Fireflies. Don't let your dinner get cold, Mama said. I forked the meat and corn and potatoes into my mouth. Please, may I go out? The fireflies. Mama smiled and Daddy nodded. Go ahead, they said. I ran from the table down to the cellar to find a jar. I knew where to look, behind the stairs. The jars were dusty, and I polished one clean on my shirt. Then I ran back up 2 stairs at a time. Holes, I remembered, so they can breathe. And as quietly as I could, so she wouldn't catch me dulling them, I poked holes in the top of the jar with Mama's scissors. The screen door banged behind me as I ran from the house. If someone said, "Don't slam it," I wasn't listening. I called to my friends in the street, "Fireflies!" But they had come before me with polished jars, and others were coming behind. The sky was darker now. My ears rang with crickets, and my eyes stung from staring too long. I blinked hard as I watched them. Fireflies, blinking on, blinking off, dipping low, soaring high above my head, making white patterns in the dark. We ran like crazy, barefoot in the grass. Catch them, we cried, grasping at the lights. Suddenly a voice called out above the others, "I caught one!" And it was my own. I thrust my hand into the jar and spread it open. The jar glowed like moonlight, and I held it in my hands. I felt a tremble of joy and shouted, "I can catch hundreds!" Then we dashed about, waving our hands in the air like nets, catching 2, 10, hundreds of fireflies, thrusting them into jars, waving our hands for more. Then someone called from my house, "It's time to come in now," and others called from their houses, and it was over. My friends took jars of fireflies to different homes. I climbed the stairs to my room and set the jar on the table by my bed. Mama kissed me and turned out the light. "I caught hundreds," I said. Daddy called from the hallway, "See you later, alligator." "After all, crocodile," I called back. I caught hundreds of fireflies. In the dark, I watched the fireflies from my bed. They blinked off and on, and the jar glowed like moonlight. But it was not the same. The fireflies beat their wings against the glass and fell to the bottom and lay there. The light in the jar turned yellow, like a flashlight left on too long. I tried to swallow, but something in my throat would not go down, and the light grew dimmer, green, like moonlight underwater. I shut my eyes tight and put the pillow over my head. They were my fireflies. I caught them. They made moonlight in my jar, but the jar was nearly dark. I flung off the covers. I went to the window, opened the jar, and aimed it to the stars. Fly! Then the jar began to glow, green, then gold, then white as the moon, and the fireflies poured out into the night. Fireflies, blinking on, blinking off, dipping low, soaring high above my head, making circles around the moon, like dancing stars. I held the jar, dark and empty, in my hands. The moonlight and the fireflies swam in my tears, but I could feel myself smiling.
Okay, I hope you like the story. In this story about fireflies, we found a lot of feelings, okay? Just to remind you, what are feelings? Are emotions, okay? Emotions are also called feelings. When you feel angry, when you feel sad, when you feel happy, silly, tired, worried, surprised, scared, and cranky. Okay, so let's see what feelings did we find in the story. I'm sure that you would be raising your hands. The boy felt happy when he saw all those fireflies. He also felt excited when he was going to pick up the fireflies, and he was sad when he had to let them go. At the same time, he felt proud because he let them go. And he felt angry when he saw that the fireflies were dying. Okay, so today's teaching point is generating ideas by thinking of strong feelings, just like the ones we saw before. I will show you today another way to find ideas for your story, and this is to think and connect to your feelings. Today in the morning, I was thinking of a feeling that I could share with you so that I could give you the example. And I thought about happiness. You see, when you feel happy. Now, what I will list is some small moments when I feel happiness. For example, when I saw my dog for the first time, I felt so happy. My dog looks like this. When I knew I was going to be a mom, that was an incredible feeling of happiness, more than happiness. And when they told me that I was going to work back at the Hebrew school, because I was working in another school, and they told me you are going back to the Hebrew school, I felt so happy. Then I started thinking of another strong feeling. And I thought about nervous. There are so many things that make us nervous. For example, some small moments. When I had my first job interview, not only in the Hebrew school, but my first job interview in my life, I was like 20 years. And when I had my first CrossFit competition, you know that CrossFit is my favorite sport. And CrossFit has competitions. And I had the first one. I will tell you about that. So now what I will do is to choose one strong feeling, okay? Between happiness and nervous. And I chose, let's see, I chose nervous. So now, from the small moments that we saw before, okay, that I told you before, my first job interview and my first CrossFit competition, I will choose one. And it is when I had my first CrossFit competition. Now, to help me write a little bit of this small moment, I will answer some questions, okay? They will help me make this entry or beginning of a story. example, when did this happen? Where was I when this happened? Who was with me in that moment? And why did I feel nervous? These are important questions that can help us make an entry. Let's see. So I will show you how I did my entry. First of all, I write the date, May 20. And I write the title, my first CrossFit competition. Okay, this is my small moment. CrossFit is my favorite sport. I remember my first competition. It was in a hot December day on a Friday afternoon. Some friends were with me that day, and my mom went to see me. I felt very nervous because it was the first time I did this. This place was very big and my opponents were really good. Now it's your turn. I will explain what are you going to do. You are also going to think of a strong feeling and you're going to write it here. And you're going to list 3 or 4 small moments that are related to that feeling. Then you are going to think of a second strong feeling, and you're also going to list those small moments. And if you have a third strong feeling, it would be great to do it, but at least with 2 I'm happy. Then what are you going to do? You're going to choose 1 strong feeling and 1 small moment, just as I did. And then in the following slide, you're going to write an entry for your story. It is great that you help yourself with these questions. When did this happen? If you answer them, it would be much easier. When did this happen? Where was I when this happened? Who was with me? Why did I feel nervous? So this is what you're going to write in the presentation and copy in your copybook. Both. Repeat again. You're going to copy this in your copybook. You may answer it here first, okay? Because you're going to choose 1 small moment, as I did, and you're going to start writing by answering the questions, okay? When are you going to do this? When are you going to hand it in? Next Wednesday, May 27. Once you finish, press enviar tarea. You don't need to send a picture of your work because I trust that you're going to do it. But you do need to do this slide. I'm going to explain it again, okay? That is slide 14 in the presentation and in your copybook, light blue, in the writing section. Are we okay with that? So I will leave a copy of this PowerPoint for each one of you to do it on your own, okay? Remember, these are feelings, and I want to stop sharing for a moment, and I want to say that I miss you very much. You are wonderful. I love you very much. And goodbye. See you next session.